Not that you would ever in a million years do this, but let's just say you drank some liquid candy, I'm sorry, soda for 2 weeks. What are the effects? Did you realize that the average American consumes 45 gallons? That's 170 liters of soda every single year. And they only drink 58 gallons of water. In the 50s and the 60s, the quantity with soft drinks was a lot less. I think on average it was like 6.5 ounces, right? That's less than 8 ounces. Now it's like 20 ounces, a liter, the big gulp. We're drinking way too much of this. I mean, even in like a 10-ounce soda, you're talking up to 10 teaspoons of sugar. And a lot of times they don't even use cane sugar like they did way back when I was growing up. I remember growing up, we would go to these different stores and buy cases of soda. Boy, we would just down all the soda. I didn't even think twice. And I drank a lot of soda growing up. But I pretty much destroyed every single tooth in my skull. Like I had cavities in every tooth, a lot of issues that caught up with me as I got into my early 20s. But nowadays, we use what's called high fructose corn syrup, and the percentage of fructose in that corn syrup is higher than cane sugar. And if we just look at the difference between high fructose corn syrup and cane sugar, it's not the same, even though if you do your own research on this, you'll find the first several pages of Google will say, oh, there's no difference, it's the same. Just realize that's all recycled information. There is a big difference when you're making um, sugar out of corn starch versus sugar cane. When they make it out of corn, as in high fructose corn syrup, the fructose molecule is more freed up. It's unbound, and it doesn't have to go through necessarily all the steps like sugarcane does. So just right there, it's faster absorbing. It can create more problems, especially to the liver. What you need to know about fructose in general is that the liver has to deal with the fructose, whereas glucose, all of your cells can metabolize it, but fructose, it can't. This is why fructose acts very similar to alcohol as far as the liver. It uses very similar pathways. And so fructose is more designed to create fat, whereas glucose can be supplied more for energy. And the thing about high fructose corn syrup with all that fructose is it doesn't satisfy you very much. So we can consume a tremendous amount of product without feeling satisfied, which is kind of dangerous, especially if a child is drinking this. I mean, if you just compare high fructose corn syrup to like fruit, how much fruit would you have to consume to get the same amount as one soda? I mean, you'd have to eat a lot of fruit. We don't do that with sodas. We just drink it very quickly. And that is a huge danger because we get no fiber. Not to mention, the corn is probably genetically modified, which we're not going to get into in this video. So, fructose is all about creating fat, especially on your liver. This is why a non alcoholic fatty liver usually comes from a lot of fructose ingestion. Also, combined with the caffeine in that soda, it's going to potentially do something to your blood pressure, your heart, your brain, not just the cognitive part, but your overall mood as well. And then when we add the phosphoric acid, that's going to affect your bone and your calcium levels. The kidneys do not like this super concentrated sugar, as well as the phosphoric acid and the caffeine all at once. And then if we compound that at a fast food restaurant where someone is consuming a burger with the bun, fries, and a big gulp of some type of soda. Wow, what a deadly combination, because that's going to create what's called glycation. It's going to create a lot of problems with your blood proteins and your brain, and your kidneys, and your eyes. Not to mention increasing inflammation, as well as increasing the risk for diabetes. Even Harvard University stated in one of their articles, the soft drinks worldwide are associated with over 180,000 deaths. And even the World Health Organization mentioned that this soda is a key contributor to childhood obesity. I think it was Margaret Chan who mentioned that from the World Health Organization. And of course, the trade group for beverage companies didn't like that. So apparently, they have a good friend at the CDC. And through the Freedom of Information Act, there is certain documents that were acquired showing this interesting, cozy relationship between American Beverage Association and the CDC. They expressed their upset and concern about the statement from the World Health Organization, and they said right in the emails, something must be done about this. And apparently, they wanted to have dinner with someone from the World Health Organization to discuss this matter. So, my question is, what is going on with this relationship between government and big food? I will put a link down below to show you more information about this. There's a great organization that kind of studies this, and they have a lot of documents with this conflict of interest. I mean, it's pretty wild that Coca-Cola does anti-obesity campaigns. Like, why is Coca-Cola in the business of anti-obesity when they sell the exact product that creates the problem? In fact, when you look at the outcome of some of these studies that are beverage industry funded, you're going to find like between 4 and 8 times more favorable outcomes, which is not very surprising. But between 2009 and 2010, the beverage industry spent $30 million in lobbying fees, which is just a crazy amount of money. But let me just kind of get on track because I got a little distracted. When you consume sodas, you're getting a lot of liquid sugar in a short period of time. And this sugar is a perfect food for microbes, yeast, bacteria, candida, fungus. In fact, many people who have an overgrowth of candida are just consuming way too much sugar. This amount of sugar can suppress your immune system, making you more susceptible to getting infections. And there's one study that shows that it can do it within 30 minutes of consuming a sugary beverage. And when you have less defenses, you can have other issues as well. You can have increased tumor growth. And just think about what cancer eats, right? It loves sugar. And so cancer cells are sugar hogs. So we don't want to feed them more sugar. Sugary beverages deplete you of vitamin C. Actually, they block vitamin C because the chemistry of vitamin C is similar to sugar. So if you're consuming sugar, you're not going to be able to absorb vitamin C. Also, your B1 will be depleted when you consume a lot of sugar, as well as vitamin D. And vitamin D has also a side important function of helping you regulate iron. And so, if there's unregulated iron, that iron can actually make infections grow because the microbes or the pathogens also live on this iron and they can actually grow and be supported, as well as cancer as well. So I hope this video will discourage you from consuming soda. Now, because of the censoring and the suppressing of the algorithms on YouTube, it's becoming more difficult to find my content. And there's a lot of content that I cannot put on YouTube, unfortunately. So to make sure you have full access of all my information, go to drberg.com and subscribe to my newsletter by clicking the link down below in the description. I will see you on the other side. But if you haven't seen my video, what would happen if you gave up sugar for 2 weeks? You should probably check it out. I put it up right here.